Hey everybody, what's happening? So, something we hear a lot in fighting that applies to life is don't wait, be first. I wanted to record a video on this because it's super important, and I believe a lot of us out there are waiting. We're waiting for something to happen. We're waiting for our ex to contact us, we're waiting for our bank account to no longer be in the negative. We're waiting for the right person to come into our lives. We're waiting for the right job. We're waiting for the right friends. We're waiting for a holiday, a vacation. We're waiting for something to happen. And it's really easy to get into this mode of waiting. Waiting is the opposite of being in control and taking the initiative. When you're first, when you in fighting, if you're being first, so you'll have two people who are fighting. Usually, one will be the one who's leading the dance, and the other person is a counter fighter, waits to see what happens and then responds. One of the great grapplers, jiu-jitsu fighters of our era, a guy who's called Marcelo Garcia. He said something that I liked once in an interview, which was, when you're constantly moving and being first, and I think in his words it was something along the lines of constantly attacking, you're going to put your opponent on the back foot and they're going to make mistakes. And the gist of that is, being first takes courage, it takes guts, it takes you going out of your comfort zone, but the rewards are there. There's always a reward when you take initiative. There's always a reward when you take action. Yes, of course there's risk associated, but that's where we hear that very famous term that's become famous for a reason: no risk, no reward, right? Now, if you're sitting and waiting, what you're basically doing is giving your power, giving your life's control up to something outside of you. You're waiting, you're watching, you're an observer, or in other words, you are a passenger. It's important for us to understand how important it is to be the driver. Be the driver of your own life. Don't wait for anything to happen. Don't wait for an ex to contact you so that you can do something. What you're really saying by waiting around for something like that is that you don't have a plan. You don't have a goal, or you don't have goals. That's what you're really saying. Deep inside, when you're waiting, it's the absence of a plan. And it's a plan, it's goals, it's objectives that make us feel more confident and make us feel stronger, make us feel more in control of our lives. Having a plan, having goals, it's not easy to do that. I'll make a video following this one about how to make goals. But goals are super important, because when you have a goal, you're no longer a passenger. You have an objective, you have a plan, you have something to work towards. Even if your goals aren't amazing, it doesn't matter. Having a goal is an incredible remedy and cure for the low self-esteem, feeling lost, feeling empty. Usually we feel that way when we have nothing to look forward to. And when we're sitting and we're waiting for something to happen, that's and then that's all we have to look forward to, it's a sign that our life isn't in our own power and in our own control. We're giving up our power. We're giving away our control to someone else. We're, again, becoming the passenger rather than the driver. And yes, it takes more effort. Yes, it takes focus, takes some intelligence to be the driver rather than the passenger. We all want to be a passenger, right? We just want to sit around and let things come and happen. But when you do that, it's unlikely that the things that are going to be happening to you are going to be in your best interest. It's more likely that you're going to be on the receiving end of something that's more of the best interest of whoever it is that's delivering it to you. So, taking the initiative, being first, taking control, creating a rhythm for your life rather than being part of someone else's rhythm, rather than being part of someone else's life, rather than being part of something else's flow and rhythm. Carve your own path forward. Make your own rules. Create your own goals and then pursue them. That's making your own life. That's creating your own world. That's self-love. Self-love is about creating your own world, creating the world inside, bringing it out, manifesting it into reality, falling in love with your own world. It's not that you're going to fall in love instantly with everything about your life. It takes practice. It takes training. It takes practice every day to wake up and look in the mirror and say, I love you. Look at yourself in the mirror and just say that. Just smile and say, I love you. I'm so grateful for you. I love all of my perfections. I love all of my imperfections. I'm okay with the fact that I make mistakes. I just had a session with one of my longer-term clients who has been faced with some real great difficulty and some real great challenges and has been doing an incredible job. And he's not the only one. A lot of the people I work with are, display traits of being too hard on themselves, and not being supportive enough of themselves. I can't think of many other things that embody self-love more than standing up for yourself, supporting yourself. Even if you've made mistakes, especially if you've made mistakes. We all make mistakes. No one is perfect. Self-love is about accepting that. It's about loving and embracing your imperfect self. And the funny thing is that when you're able to do that is when you wind up shining and excelling, because you free yourself of the stress of holding back the resistance. I'm a huge believer in what we resist persists. What you fight against just grows stronger. You can see that in biology. You can see that with how humans have been trying to decimate bacteria with antibiotics, and instead fighting that bacteria makes it mutate and makes it stronger. You can see that with terrorism, with how we drop more and more bombs on ISIS or whoever it is, and it just morphs. It becomes stronger. I argue with people sometimes about the Republican Party in American politics and how, the Democrats, once they got power with Obama, there was a campaign to smash the Republican Party, and saying that party is out of date. It's for old white people who are racist and backwards and overly patriotic, overly religious, whatever it is. The politics is always parties trying to crush each other. But look at what happened to the Republican Party. Rather than it becoming decimated, it mutated. It mutated into something that we've never seen before. Donald Trump is not a real Republican. He's a mutated form. The point is that when you accept and embrace, you feel like you're being weak. It's this trick that our mind plays on us that no, don't accept, don't flow. That's weakness. Be strong, fight. Right? But you don't realize that when you're fighting, you're prolonging things. There's a time and place to fight. There's a time and place to accept. Okay? But in general, and most of the time, resistance causes stress. It keeps things going longer because what you're actually doing is you're putting your attention on whatever it is you're fighting against. And when you accept and you flow, things tend to dissolve. So acceptance, which really at its core is love, is true love. True love is acceptance, accepting all that is. And that's why it's so powerful when you accept whatever it is rather than fighting it. And without realizing, most of us are fighting with ourselves constantly. Our greatest adversary is ourselves. We're constantly putting ourselves down, constantly fighting and resisting our imperfections, denying them or putting them down or trying to extinguish them or looking down at it and saying, this is bad. It's bad that I've made these mistakes, or it's bad that I'm this way, or it's bad that I behave in a certain way, rather than. And then what happens when we do that? We linger. Those things don't disappear. They linger. They stay. We engage in stressful battle that goes on sometimes years and years, sometimes a lifetime. But when you accept and embrace, it takes intelligence to understand that no one's perfect. It takes intelligence to understand that no one will be perfect. We're never, ever going to be perfect. We're actually perfect in our imperfections. It takes an intelligent mind to understand and accept that the greatest people on earth have made some of the greatest errors and mistakes on earth. So it's super important to stand up for yourself. Be your own first supporter. I say this in a lot of my videos. If you're not going to stand up for yourself, who's going to stand up for yourself? Who's going to stand up for you? No one. It's got to start with you. And once you start to have faith in yourself, have belief in yourself, stand up for yourself, even if you've made mistakes in the past, then other people will as well. When you start to see your own value and your own self-worth and can forgive mistakes that you've made, then others will be able to see it too. But if you're constantly beating yourself up, breaking yourself down, others will see that too. Remember, the world outside of us is a reflection of the world within. Everything within our skin, inside of us, it reflects out in the world. So if you go out in the world and inside you love yourself, you stand by yourself, even if you're not perfect, even if you lie or cheat and have done things that you consider to be wrong, even if you've done all that, but as long as you can accept it, realize, okay, forgive yourself, accept that you're not going to be perfect, accept that no one out there is perfect, that the greatest people on earth aren't perfect. If you can do that, then other people will love you as well. So be your own supporter. Stand up for yourself. Put that into practice. Just knowing that is not enough. You've got to put it into practice. Don't be too hard on yourself. And think about your goals. Don't wait. If you wait for something to happen, you're wasting your time. Waiting is, there's a time and place to be patient. Of course, patience is different. But if you're waiting and every day your attention is on something else, waiting for something else to happen, you're giving away your power. God knows how long we're going to be alive for. This existence, this life that we're experiencing is truly a gift. And yeah, there's a time to be patient. There are moments in time when doing nothing is the best thing to do. But realize the importance of having goals and getting on with your life and not waiting for someone to throw a punch at you so that you can counter it. Be first. Alright, that's it. Just a very quick video there, and I hope everyone out there is doing well. Enjoying summer or summer wrapping up. Have some goals, understand the importance of goals. Yes, it takes work to come up with goals that you're interested in, that it inspire you, that excite you, that motivate you. It does take some work. You've got to sit down, you've got to plan. I love doing it when I'm, sometimes if I'm in a jacuzzi or if I'm sitting at the beach or if I'm going for a drive or a walk or whatever, moments where I'm relaxing and sitting, those are the moments where I'll start developing my goals. I'll start thinking of new goals or existing goals. And just simply thinking about your goals is watering those seeds. They'll grow. They'll become more of a part of you. Another one of my clients, we've been having some really good sessions, and one of the analogies that's come up in our sessions is that in your mind, thoughts are like plants, like trees, and again, you can water those plants and trees with your attention. If you're putting your attention more on, let's say, the plants and trees that don't serve you, they're like weeds, right? If your attention is on, for example, why did I make these mistakes, or, things about yourself that you're not standing up for, you're putting yourself down, that's weeds. You're growing weeds in your mind, right? You're supporting thoughts that are overtaking the garden in your mind. And what you should be doing is chopping those weeds down, right? Or giving more water to the healthier, awesome avocado trees, citrus trees, the flowers, the lawn, whatever you want to grow in your garden. Those are your goals. Those are the people, the music, the movies, the foods, the things, the clothes, all the activities in life that inspire you, that energize you, that strengthen you. So make 2 lists. Make a list of all the things in life that lift you up, that energize you, that make you feel good. Make a list of them, because just knowing those things is knowing yourself. And then make a list of the opposite, all the things that make you feel like crap. It's going to be things like too much porn. It's going to be things like drugs, possibly. It's going to be things like certain people who may be bringing you down. So, know yourself. We think that we know ourselves, but we don't put enough work into understanding ourselves. And just simply writing out these lists helps tremendously. Write a list of all your life goals, long-term and short-term. And at least you'll know what they are. And eventually those things need to be memorized. You've got to be able to know them clearly what they are. What are the things in your life that are helping you take initiative and be first? What are those goals? And of course, never, ever, never forget gratitude. Every day it's got to be trained. You've got to train your gratitude. Gratitude isn't something that just happens overnight. All of these things require daily practice. So it begins with writing it down, because writing is extremely powerful. Words are extremely powerful. So you write down before you go to bed, I'm so grateful for this, I'm so grateful for that, I'm so grateful for these things that happened today. You do that for a while, then it evolves into just being able to do it all the time. Just all the time in life. I'm so grateful for this, I'm so grateful for that. The more you can be grateful, the happier you're going to be. Gratitude is one of the greatest sources of happiness in our life. Most of the people out there who are suffering depression, anxiety, emptiness, it's not that they don't have anything. Most of these people have a tremendous amount. Look at some of the people, in the news who've recently just been so empty and so depressed that have taken their own lives. Chris Cornell I've talked about, or Chester from Lincoln Park. Same thing. Those guys had a ton of money. They had a ton of support and love from fans. They had families. They had children. They had everything that most people dream of. But did they have gratitude? Were they practicing gratitude? Most depression, emptiness doesn't come from an absence. It comes from a surplus. It comes from having so much that you constantly need more. And if you don't have, you'll feel that vacancy, that void. Most people out there who come from difficulty are happier in life because they appreciate, they understand how awesome it is to have things. So training yourself in daily gratitude is so important. It's so important for your mental health and happiness. And I'm going to share one more analogy that came up in a recent session with a new client I've been working with, who's super cool. We've been having some good conversations so far, and one of the analogies that popped up, I've mentioned it before in one of my past videos, but worth bringing it up again, is for anybody out there who's into taking care of your body, eating healthy, well, it's the same for your mind as well. What is the diet that you're feeding your mind? Are you feeding your mind crap? Are you feeding your mind McDonald's? Are you feeding your mind French fries? Or are you feeding your mind delicious, whole foods that are tasty but also healthy, right? So be able to identify the diet that you're feeding your mind as well. And what's that diet made up of? It's made up of thoughts and what your attention is on. That's your diet. So, not saying you've got to have a 100% clean diet. No, we're on this planet to enjoy ourselves, to have some McDonald's every now and then. It's okay. But make sure that if you're putting in a certain amount of McDonald's, that you're balancing it out, if not more, with healthier foods too, because this is all you have in this world. So take care of it, feed it well. It's not just your body, it's your mind as well. Feed your mind with good things, positive music, music that energizes it, uplifts you. It's not forever. There's a time and place where we're going to listen to sad music, emotional music, whatever. But if you're in a place right now where you're trying to build yourself up, then be very aware and conscious of what's going in your eyes, your nose, your mouth, your touch, your ears. All of that's going into your body. So balance it out, right? If you're going to have 5 unhealthy thoughts, have 10 healthy thoughts to go with it. If you're going to sit there and be like, God, I made all these mistakes, and you're going to beat yourself up, that's fine. Do that. But then have more uplifting thoughts, motivating thoughts, where you're standing up for yourself. Okay? And then you keep that up, and then you're going to create new habits. New habits of what? Of being mentally stronger. Okay? And as you grow more mentally strong with tools like setting goals, having a long list of great activities and things that lift you up and inspire and energize you, knowing what are the things that bring you down so that you can do them less or keep an eye on them or do them in moderation. And, whoops, and gratitude, super important. Daily gratitude. And remember, all of these things are not just a one-off. You're not just going to write the list once or twice or do gratitude once. No, it's got to be a habit. It's got to become a way of life. But you can slowly start and then filter all these things in. And then see the difference. See how you feel when you have goals, when you're not sitting, when you're not waiting, when you're not on the receiving end of life, and instead you're on the delivering end.